Hello, everyone, and welcome to Get More Clients. I'm your host, Lynn Whitbeck. Business owners and entrepreneurs hire me to ignite winning sales because most are chasing down leads, lack client retention, conversion, and profit. The mission of this show is to educate, inspire, and motivate women and men around the world to build a robust sales strategy to get more clients because many can't get more clients and haven't a clue why. You will learn to transform thinking to the client's perspective, eliminate the lengthy, chaotic sales cycle to ignite your sales and unleash lasting profits. You'll also have the opportunity to connect with me further to see how I can support you beyond today. Now, last week, I shared how to repair your client relationship when things go wrong. And today, as you can see, I have a very special guest, Tom Ruwitch, and we're going to be showing you why list building is the perfect fast track to grow your sales. Now, Tom and I go way back at this point, go way back to when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, but you may not know Tom. He is a consultant, content marketing expert, and the founder of Story Power Marketing. Coaches, consultants, and other experts hire Tom to power up their stories because most dish out the same old boring content that turns off prospects, and then they feel frustrated and stuck. So Tom helps them transform content from boring to brilliant, turn marketing from frustrating to fun, and convert results from pitiful to profitable. So Tom, I am so thrilled to have you today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Lynn, I am really happy to be here, happy to be talking about list building because, as you said, it's very, very important, critical thing. So let's just dive in. We have a short window to deliver a lot of really valuable information. So I'm going to share my screen, and yeah,
Yes,
there it is. Beautiful. All right, let's get this show on the road. 5 ways to build your email list without paid ads. I'm Tom Ruwitch, and I'm going to dive in first with a cautionary tale. I know a guy who ran a software company, decided he wanted to retire, had built a great company, had a lot of clients, and hired a business broker to help him sell the company. And a prospective buyer emerged. This buyer actually had heard of the company because he was on that company's email list. The deal was done. The sale was about to happen until due diligence, and the buyer discovered that the email list was tiny. He was one of just a few, maybe a couple of hundred on this email list. They never had really invested in building the email list. And the buyer concluded that without a list, the company was far less valuable than he thought. And it was based on something this buyer correctly understood, that a well-built, properly cultivated email list can be the most valuable asset in your business, because email marketing remains the most efficient, cost-effective, predictable way to transform prospects to clients and build a profitable business. So today we're going to talk about why you need to build a list. Actually, we just talked about that. Now we're going to dive into multiple ways to do it without having to spend money on advertising. And we're also going to talk about what you need to focus on before you invest in list building. This presentation is actually part 1 of a 2-part email marketing thing for this show. And we're going to talk about some things that you need to do that'll lead us into that second presentation that's upcoming. We'll talk about what's next. And before we dive in, let me just tell you a little bit about me and why I think I'm qualified to be talking about this. I began my professional life as an award-winning newspaper reporter in the Washington, D.C. area, then in the St. Louis, Missouri area where I now reside. And that's where I honed my storytelling, my research skills, things that still apply today to the marketing work that I do. A lot of people have called me a content marketing pioneer because I founded an email software service, email marketing software, back in 2001, before most people had heard of, much less tried, email marketing. And I ran that company for 19 years before selling it in 2019 and founding Story Power Marketing, where I'm helping my clients, as Lynn said, transform their content from really prospect repelling to client attracting. Now, Story Power Marketing and my marketing technology division implement them are the focus of my work. I coach clients one-on-one. I run various workshops and one-to-many masterminds where we do a lot of do it with you work. I can also provide do it for you consulting on all things around content marketing. Let's dive in now to building your list. And the first thing you need to think about is turning your website into a list building machine. A few things you need to do. You need to have an email sign up link or a form on every page of your website. So many websites I visit, there's no sign that you can join the list, and nobody can join the list if they can't find the email sign up form. So make that link to the form or the form itself available on every page, and especially on the front page, make it visible at the very first screen. You also want to use free resources, or what marketers call lead magnets, and prominently display those on your website and offer those throughout your website. Those could be a free PDF download. It could be a video training. It could be a recording of a webinar or something that you've done. All sorts of ways to create lead magnets. Not enough time to go into that, but make sure you have at least one good free gift lead magnet that you prominently display and offer on your website. Now, promote your list, promote the opportunity to join your email list consistently on social media. How are you going to do that? Number one, drive followers and engagers to your email list and lead magnets from your posts and your articles. I write a LinkedIn newsletter every week, and at the very bottom, sometimes at the top, I talk about the fact that this article, this post, started life as an email. People on my email list got this before you saw it. If you want to join my email list, click here. And every time I post an article like that on LinkedIn, I get new people to join my email list. Social media is great for building a following, for extending your brand, for getting noticed, but it is not as effective for transforming prospects to clients as email is. So you want to think strategically about, how can I turn my social media following into email followers? And this is one way to do it. You also want to, well, I just said this, that making connections and building your brand on social is great, but you want to schedule meetings, sell products, build your business through email. So next one, host events. Host events. Lynn's hosting an event right now. It's a live event, a television show, but it's an event. And this is part of Lynn's strategy to build a following and get people on her email list, and then host or post and promote those events on social. Work with co-hosts to promote to their list, both the live event and follow up and replay, and then ask registrants to refer others. This is a big one that some people miss. So as people register, in one of your follow-ups leading to the event, you can remind people, hey, if you know anybody who might be interested in this event, spread the word. I've gotten a lot of people to events that way who then end up on my mailing list. Next one, get on other people's stages. Here I am on somebody else's stage. If Lynn calls, I answer. And when Lynn asked me to be on her stages, her shows, her summits, whatever it might be, I'm there. And there are other ways to do it. Try to be a podcast guest. Build a following by being a guest on other people's podcasts, where you can spread the word to an audience that you wish to reach. Speak at summits. Lynn and I both have been on the stage at the same summits. So what's great about these approaches, what's important about being on other people's stages, is the people who own the stage, who run the podcast, who run the summit, are promoting it and you to others. And then when you are on that stage, you have an opportunity to say to the attendees, hey, how about if you follow me? How about if you sign up for my thing? How about if you join my list? How about if you get my lead magnet? You can also appear on live stages. I know a lot of people who are sort of in this 21st century meet via Zoom world who kind of roll their eyes at live events, especially local events, chambers of commerce, and so forth. But especially if you're just getting started with list building, if you're just trying to grow your business, and of course, especially if you serve local customers more than beyond your local market, getting out there on local stages is really important. And today it's actually easier to do than it was before COVID, because a lot of organizations are trying to rebuild their live event followings, and they're looking for good speakers. So reach out and look for those opportunities. Then you also want to partner with those who have good email lists. So how might you do that? You can do what's called a list swap. Now, by a list swap, I'm not talking about me saying to Lynn, hey, I'll give you my list of subscribers if you give me your list of subscribers. That's not kosher. That's not the way to go about it. But what I can say is, hey, Lynn, I know that you're promoting product X or event Y or whatever the case may be. I'm about to promote something myself. Or it could be as simple as, I know you're trying to build your email list. I love your emails. I'd love to tell my list about your email newsletter, or your weekly or daily emails, if you do the same. So what you're doing is you're arranging with somebody who has a list that includes people you wish to reach, and you are encouraging that person to share the link to your email sign up or your lead magnet or whatever it may be, and you will do the same for them. Caution about that. You don't want to do that just willy-nilly, any takers, anyone who says yes, because you need to respect and protect the people on your list. You don't want to say, hey, I'm promoting Jane Doe and Bill Smith and Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble, when you haven't vetted their content, when you're not sure that it would be relevant to your audience. Only look for these partnerships and these cross promotions if you're very, very certain that the content that you're sharing, that the list that you're promoting, that the event that you're promoting, whatever it might be, is relevant and will be valuable to your list. Because if you burn your list too many times by promoting something that they don't find valuable, they're going to tune out entirely, and you're going to lose them and all of that relationship capital that you've built. You can also participate in group giveaways. There are different websites and organizations out there where they organize a group of experts to each share one of their lower cost products or a valuable lead magnet or something like that. And one of them is called Infinite List. You can look up infinitelist.com and participate in a program like that. And the idea is that Infinite List has built a giant list of people. Those people will promote the giveaway. And I did one recently where I was one of 15 experts. I gave away one of my ebooks. Pardon me. I gave away one of my ebooks. Pardon me again. Excuse me. I gave away one of my ebooks, and I was one of 15 people. So the other 14 people were promoting the giveaway. The Infinite List folks were promoting the giveaway, and I got a large number of people. I forget the exact number, but I think I added 175 people to my email list without very much effort at all, participating in that group giveaway. All right. Important. Don't shortcut the process. Purchase lists. You know, you can go out and purchase an email list It's not against the law, at least not in the United States. A little note about the CAN spam law. People think that the CAN spam law in the United States says that spam is flat out illegal. It's not illegal. What the CAN Spam Act in the United States does is it governs all the things that you have to do if you're going to send unsolicited commercial email. So you can legally, at least in the United States, it's different in Europe, you can legally go out, buy a list, and send a promotion to people, but they don't work especially well. There are better ways to acquire leads. There are times when cold email done under the right circumstances can work, but don't shortcut the process. What we're talking about here is a long game, building a list, building a relationship, respecting the people on the list, really going out after people who want to hear from you and want to connect with you, and will value what you're out there presenting. And purchasing a list is not a great way to go about it. And never, ever, ever just scrape a list, meaning going to websites or going into LinkedIn and finding a bunch of people's emails and all of a sudden just emailing them because you track down their email. Bad process, bad practice. Don't shortcut the process. All right. Now, this is a really, really critical thing. I hear from so many business owners when they come to me for help. The first thing they say is, I need more leads. I need more leads. Let's advertise. Let's put some Facebook ads out there, or let's really dive into doing some aggressive list building. And the first question I ask in response is, all right, well, what do you have in place? If somebody raises their hand and says, I want to join your email list, or I want to get your lead magnet, or I want to attend your webinar, what do you have in place to engage them? You have to have a plan. You have to know what you're going to send and when, and what your next step and your calls to action are going to be. Because if you don't have a plan to engage your prospects, they're going to raise their hand. They're going to say, I want to hear from you. And then you're going to sputter and sporadically share some content. You may send something a few weeks down the road. You may pause. You may send something again a few months down the road, and you will never build that relationship. You have to be prepared to communicate with them on an ongoing and effective basis before you invest a whole lot of energy in everything that I've told you here. And that's the next step that we'll talk about here. You have to also know, how is it that you're closing sales? A lot of people assume that all of these late 20th century and early 21st century tactics of social media and email marketing have reinvented how we close sales. Lynn is a sales expert, and she knows that the email and social media and all these things are not some kind of silver bullet that all of a sudden has reinvented the way that a buyer chooses to sign a contract and hire people, especially if you're in the B2B world, especially if you're a coach or a consultant or a professional service provider. You're still going to close a sale. You're still going to get a prospect to say, yes, I want to hire you, through a phone call, through a face-to-face, through one-to-one. And so you have to be strategic and thoughtful about how are you going to get them to that. You're not going to send an email, a part of your regular email, that says, attached is a contract for my services. Please download the contract and send me a check, or give me your credit card for a $10,000 engagement. It doesn't work that way. So you have to be aware of what's the next step, what's the call to action, how am I going to move them from email to the close, to the buying decision. And if you don't know that, figure that out before you build the list. And you can also test these things with a small list. Most people who are watching this probably are doing some email marketing and probably already have a small list. So begin to ease into better email marketing, better communication, better closing, better calls to action. See how that's going and get that machine well tuned before you dive into doing a whole bunch of list building. Because when you do effective list building, you want to make sure that that machine is running and ready. All right. So what's next? Well, I hinted at this, that I've been telling you all these things that you need to do. And in the next session, which I believe is next week, right, Lynn? Yep, Lynn is nodding. I think
Yeah,
we're
I
doing
was
this.
on mute. Yes, it's next
Yeah.
week.
So all of you who are here live next week, same time, same bat time, same bat channel, we're gonna talk about how to create captivating, client attracting emails. And that is the key thing, that until you have that figured out, the list building thing, press pause. Okay. So few things to share. Free gifts. 9 secrets to create client attracting content. That's I'm practicing what I preach. I would like to share with you a free gift. It's a great, valuable resource, an ebook that goes into 9 key things to know to create client attracting content. And you can get it at the address. It's going to be in the show notes and links. And Lynn has already, I think, shared that in the chat. I'm not sure where that link is, but getstorypowermarketing.com/get more clients. And then I encourage you to join my online family, to sign up for my never boring emails. And you can get those. Getstorypowermarketing.com. Get more clients is not right. You go to storypowermarketing.com, click the button to get the emails, and all that's how you get on the list. And then I put my email address down here at the bottom, tom@storypowermarketing.com. I'm not one of these gurus on high who tells you email me and then I pawn it off to some assistant in the Philippines. If you send me an email, have a question, have a concern, want to pick my brain a little bit, I will reply directly to you. And I may not reply immediately that day, but if you email me at tom@storypowermarketing.com, I will reply, and I welcome you to do it. I encourage you to do it. I would love to get your feedback regarding this presentation or any questions or concerns you have about content marketing, email marketing, marketing in general. So I'll leave that screen up. And Lynn, I don't think that we have a mechanism to do live Q&A, but we do, I think, have 5 minutes left. I plowed through that content. I hope everybody is, take a deep breath. The fire hose is off. And Lynn, I'll be happy to answer any questions or just chat about this in the 5 minutes that we have left until we leave the air today.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was terrific, Tom. I think the key is why I wanted to bring you on is that a robust sales strategy truly begins with creating that spark of interest with your ideal clients and then nurturing the nascent relationship. And list building is the crucial component to effectively capture and hold your ideal client's attention. And I loved the content that you shared, because you went on and told us why list building outperforms other marketing tactics. I think you gave us some stats there. It was a fast and furious show.
Yeah,
right?
It was fast and furious. I actually, I will share one stat with you. I was talking about social media as opposed to email. And again, this is not an either or. I'm not into the whole my channel versus your channel. I believe in multi-channel marketing, and social media is a huge part of what I do. But I'll note that one of my favorite social media influencers, I'll call her, is a woman named Kim Garst, and she really knows her stuff when it comes to LinkedIn. And I was in a room with Kim once where she was talking about the fact she has 25, 30,000 followers on LinkedIn. And she will occasionally promote a product or a service or a paid thing on LinkedIn. She said, less than 3% of my sales revenue comes from links on social media. The vast majority of it comes from what she called real estate eye control. And what she meant by real estate eye control is my email list or my online community, which by the way is tied directly into email marketing as well. And her point being that when you're communicating directly, and it's much more predictable than social media, those calls to action regarding sign up for my event or buy my book or sign up for training, whatever it might be, there's much greater predictability and there's much greater return when you do that via email. So social and email work very closely together. And there are all sorts of crazy statistics about the ROI of email marketing versus other channels. I don't usually quote those stats because I think results vary, and I think some of those stats are I don't know, little bit inflated. So
well, and that's true, but the key is that you forged and developed the relationships, and when you do that through email marketing, it fosters the likelihood of converting prospects to clients, and that's why list building is a perfect strategy to make this happen. And so, Tom, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you so much for sharing why list building is the perfect fast track to grow your sales. Now, and all of Tom's contact information is going to be included in our show notes. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. My purpose is for you to get more clients. And that's why I had Tom on the show today, because bottom line, don't make this harder than it has to be. Sales should be a win-win. And on behalf of Petite to Queen, I've carved out a limited number of time slots to invite you to hop on and ignite your sales call with me, which is exactly what Tom talked about today when we were going through the presentation. And I really, truly am gifted at this, and I am going to make sure that the fastest way to your success is to assure people know that they matter. And the best way to happen is to build a consistent sales strategy to acquire, convert, and capitalize on every lead. Today, Tom and I explored why list building is the perfect fast track to grow your sales. And the key is for you to implement these steps to stop wasting time, energy, and resources. Now, I am so happy to tell you, you can join me on my website to stay current on all of our insightful advice, our breakthrough advantages, and never miss an episode of Get More Clients, because you can sign up for our weekly wisdoms newsletter at petitetoqueen.com. Now, next week on Get More Clients, Tom and I will be back discussing what are effective processes for meaningful sales supporting content creation. Yes, he's going to get into the nitty and the gritty so that you can have the strategy and the foundation to have really effective email marketing. So make sure you don't miss a single episode by subscribing to Get More Clients wherever you get your podcasts. And if you love the show, please share it and give us a 5-star review. We would very much appreciate it. I'll see you next week on Get More Clients. And Tom, I will see you next week on Get More Clients. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Lynn. Look forward to it.
All right. Bye, everyone.